Everyone told me not to share this recipe, but I just had to. Let's make carne guisada. You'll notice in this recipe that I am putting a lot of things in measuring cups and showing it on screen. That's because this is the video of the actual development of the carne guisada recipe that I'm sharing with you today. We start by adding in a few tablespoons of olive oil. You can use any oil you want. And then I added in some onions and some red bell peppers. The red bell peppers have a little bit of green because these are homegrown and some of them still had green on them. All right, so instead of carne, today we'll be using jackfruit. The trick to making jackfruit taste really good with the flavors you infuse it with is to rinse it very, very well. My theory on jackfruit goes something like this. When you think that you've rinsed it enough, rinse it for 5 more minutes. You'll add your jackfruit in after your onions and peppers are somewhat softened. Also, as usual, this entire recipe is on my blog, teamleal.net. Now we're gonna add in some vegan beef broth. This is one of my favorite broths besides the Edward & Sons. I always wonder what everybody's favorite beef broth or chicken broth is that's plant-based. Drop yours down in the comments. In total, I added 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons. I measured it all out in teaspoons though, because I wanted to go slow and not overpower. Mix well and then add in a very unique ingredient. We're gonna be using Marmite. If you don't have any, there will be a link in the video description showing you where to get it. Add that in and allow all of this to simmer for about 10 minutes. That'll bring all the flavors together. Then we're gonna add in some culantro y achote. I have that again linked in the video description. Stir it up and cover it. We're gonna do a lot of covering and uncovering today. Now we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. If you're not allergic to soy, just go ahead and use soy sauce. We have 1 kiddo with a soy allergy, so we use coconut aminos. We're gonna add in some red wine. We're adding 1 cup, stirring it around, deglazing that pot, and then we'll cover, let it cook for about 10 minutes, and then we'll add in our other half cup of red wine. Next, add in some carrots. I'm only adding about half a cup to a cup of sliced carrots. You know what we're gonna do now. We're gonna mix it up and cover it up one more time. While that's simmering and all the flavors are coming together, we can cut up our red potatoes. Make sure to rinse your potatoes well and take out any bad parts that you don't want to eat. When using potatoes in carne guisada, they add starch to your dish and allow it to thicken naturally. I'm using 3 cups of red skinned potatoes in this dish. Once you've mixed in your potatoes, you'll add in 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Mix well and measure out 3 cups of water. You'll add in 2 cups of your 3 cups of water and leave the other cup to the side. At this point of making the recipe, I was pretty excited because this looks like legitimate carne guisada, but I tasted it and it needed something else. So I added some more spices. I added in some garlic powder along with some dried oregano and of course, cumin. Cumin is literally one of my favorite spices. All right, we're coming to the end of making this delicious carne guisada dish. You'll want to cover it and allow those potatoes to soften. Now this final part is very, very optional. I tasted it and I felt like it needed 1 little bit of smokiness. So I added the smallest amount of liquid smoke. But this is very optional because at this point it was still very, very delicious. Now let's grab that cup of water we left to the side. And if we want it a little bit more brothy, then we'll add more water, which I did. I added my 3rd cup of water to get just the right consistency. Once you're all done, you'll check your potatoes for doneness, which I should have done with a fork, but I did with a huge knife. Carne guisada is served with rice, beans, and tortillas. It's so good. My husband's grandfather, that is a total meat eater and a World War II veteran, said, I don't care what this is, I just want more. Don't forget to tag me if you try out this recipe. Buen provecho.